Another Brick Fan with day 24 of the 2021 Advent Calendars. Well, we've reached the last day of the Advent Calendar, so once again I'm doing City, Star Wars, Avengers, and Harry Potter. But let's take a quick look at day 23. From City, we got a train car that goes with the train engine. We get the child's hover pram, which is what Grogu sat in most of Season 1 from The Mandalorian. We got a Christmas tree from both the Avengers set and from the Harry Potter set, although they are different. As you can see, the Avengers one is first and then Harry Potter. Let's go ahead and open up our last day of the Advent calendars. Here we are on the last day for the City Advent Calendar, and if you haven't already guessed, this is going to be Santa Claus, because they always have Santa Claus in the City Advent Calendar. So let's go ahead and open up day 24, and it is in fact Santa Claus with a megaphone and a cookie. So here is our 2021 Santa Claus from the City Advent Calendar. As you can see, he's got his nice red coat with a white trim around it. He's carrying a cookie. This, I would say, is a megaphone, or a way for him to speak loudly. He's got the nice Santa beard. I always like these Santa hats. He's got a candy cane tucked into his belt here in the back, so that's a nice little print. What's kind of interesting to me, maybe you didn't see it when I was putting him together, but I'm going to have to take him apart to see this, but he doesn't have a smile on his face. He's got kind of a flat expression there on our Santa Claus. But because everything's covered up by the beard and the hat, all you really see are his glasses and eyebrows, so I think it works. So there we have our last figure for our City Advent Calendar in 2021. Let's move on to the next Advent Calendar. Here's our last day of the Star Wars Advent Calendar, day 24 in the very bottom corner here, and it is going to be the Mandalorian. So here is the Mandalorian in this dark brown with the Beskar armor, so all the very shiny plates here around on his arm, good arm printing here. He's wearing a red scarf with some silver snowflakes or diamonds in it, which look really good. It's a nice shiny figure. There's a scarf again in the back and the rest of his armor, and then the weapons belt. Of course, the Mandalorian helmet also done in this nice bright silver, and it looks like there's good printing on that. Of course, the Mandalorian has no face, because he's never supposed to show it, even though he shows it quite a bit in the series. So there are all 24 of our builds and minifigures for the Star Wars Advent Calendar for 2021. Let's move on to our next Advent Calendar. Here is the Avengers Advent Calendar, and we are on our last day, day number 24, which is way down here in the corner. Let's go ahead and open that up, and we get the Infinity Gauntlet. And there we have the Infinity Gauntlet, with all 6 Infinity Stones. So these were hard to get. They started coming out 2 years ago, and you had to buy 3 or 4 different Avengers sets in order to get all the stones for the Infinity Gauntlet, because the stones came with different sets. And here we are in an Advent Calendar that costs $40 or less, depending on if you can get it on sale, with all 6 Infinity Stones. So this is by far the cheapest way to get all 6 Infinity Stones with an Infinity Gauntlet. So there are all of the builds for 2021 in the Avengers calendar. Let's move on to our last calendar. Here's our final Advent calendar and our final day here for 2021. This is Harry Potter day 24. And if we open this up, we get this little game spinner. Here is the last of the builds, and this is like I said, it's a little top. So it looks like yellow and red do move backwards, and blue and green you move forward. And you spin this and it will fall on one of the sides, with yellow facing up would be my guess. So that's the one we got. Here's green facing up. So it makes for a nice game here, which I think is a really great idea. So now that we've opened all 24 doors, let's go ahead and recap our last 4 builds and wrap up this year. Here are the final builds from the 2021 Advent calendars, and as you may expect, we got Santa Claus as our last character in the city set, which is pretty standard. Every city Advent calendar I've opened had Santa Claus on the last day. We also get the Mandalorian in his Beskar armor and the dark brown, and he is wearing a red scarf around his neck, which I thought was printed up very nicely. Here from the Avengers, we got the Infinity Gauntlet with all 6 Infinity Stones, which traditionally have been very difficult to get. You had to buy pretty much all of the Avengers sets a couple of years ago in order to get all of the Infinity Stones. And then, as I may have mentioned a couple of times, the Harry Potter Advent calendar actually has a game board on the bottom, and all the different pieces are used with that game board, and then the characters are used for the players. And this is the spinner that you can use to play the game. And you can see it lands on a color, and then you get to either move forward or backward that number of spaces. So that might be a fun little game that you could play after building all of the builds inside of the Harry Potter Advent calendar. So thank you for joining me on this 24-day journey of the Advent calendar builds for 2021. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and until my next video, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to see more of my content. I've left links to several of my review playlists up here.